Okay, I think we're recording. So systems for your business. And by the way, before I kind of jump into that, today's the 11th. Don't forget, Pumpkin Spice Shakeology kicks off on the 17th. So I've been kind of putting little breadcrumbs of pumpkin spice things like in my stories and a few of my posts talking about like fall time and that kind of stuff to get people kind of thinking about it a little more. I'm sure a lot of people are already thinking about it. But don't forget that launches on the 17th, and it's only for a limited time. Oh, baby! Hi, Charlotte. And then also, if you haven't already heard, a little more obsessed. Autumn put more workouts together for a little obsessed, so it's a little more obsessed. And if you are on Shakeology HD, you get earlier access to it than if you're not on Shakeology. So I haven't yet, but I plan on reaching out to my previous customers who have loved 80-Day Obsession and who I know would want that, and just kind of putting that in their minds. Kind of thing that if they want, to get earlier access to that if they just, order another Shakeology, then, one, they get more Shakeology, two, they get early access to a little more obsessed. You can look at the FAQs because I don't know the exact date for that, but keeping that in mind as well. Okay, so systems, and what I mean by that is like ways to simplify like how you're getting your customers kind of onboarded into this new fitness journey, how you're bringing new coaches in, tracking, and just kind of simplifying things for you so you're not having to take so much time doing this. And so the first one, something that I didn't always do, but I've been doing for a little while now, is a new customer email. So anytime someone signs up with me, whether it's a coach who signs up with the challenge pack or just a customer, they both get this email. And I wrote it out, and I don't really have it saved anywhere. I just will go back to my previously sent emails and copy and paste it to the next person, because I pretty much use the same one every time, and I might change it slightly if it's like for Lift for a new program launch. Let me plug my fan in quick for my computer. But with this email, so every time someone comes in, I send them a new customer email, and it's just like the heading is like getting started. And before I kind of go what's into it, when someone's signing up, I'll kind of let them know, like, let me know like I've sent them the link, and I'll say something like, okay, I'm so excited. Let me know once you finish signing up, and then I'll shoot you an email letting you know how to access the workout site and the workouts. So kind of getting in their head like, oh, I won't know how to access it until I sign up kind of thing. So I try to like tweak that a little bit to make it sound like if you want to access them, you have to, sign up and let me know kind of thing. So I say that after I send them the link, and then they'll let me know, okay, signed up, and then I'll go and I'll send them the email right away. And in this email, it just says, and if you want it, I'm happy to share it with you. If you're a more veteran coach, you probably haven't received it. But it says like, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you joined us on this journey. Just kind of saying how excited I am. And then I tell them how to access the workouts. You're going to go to beachbodyondemand.com and log in using the same info you used when you signed up. And then I just take 21-day fix for example purposes or for sample purposes and tell them, okay, you're going to click on 21-day fix, whether or not you're doing this program, just to simplify, because it's kind of the same for every program. So you're going to click on this program, and the first page will be all of the workouts within that specific program. If you go under program materials, this is how you access the nutrition guide, and you'll want to calculate out your caloric intake for what nutrition guide you're going to follow. This is how you access the workout calendar. Each program has its own specific workout calendar, so you're not picking and choosing random workouts, and you're actually following the program to get the best possible results. And so I tell them that in that email, and then usually like I'll work one-on-one with them, helping them pick a program if we haven't already before they signed up. And then in there, I recently added in this email how I recommend making Shakeology, because we know so many people will try like just mixing it with water right away and they're like, this is disgusting. So I try to put in there right away when you get Shakeology, this is my personal favorite recipe. You can also make it into a cake, which has been my jam recently. This is the recipe for that. Definitely try one of these or search something on Pinterest. Let me know what you try, and I totally recommend blending it because it tastes significantly better and it's going to help you feel fuller longer. And so I put that in there. And so having that I just copy and paste to everyone, I know that everyone knows how to access the workout sites. I know that I told everyone how to make Shakeology, so chances of them liking it are significantly higher versus trying to argue with them like, no, try again, you have to blend it, don't just shake it with water. Because if they just shake it with water, a lot of times they're like, this is disgusting, I'm returning it. I haven't actually had anyone do that, but you know, to kind of battle that before it even comes. So that's the first one, is a new customer email, and accessing those things and having like little bullet points. And then if we have like a new program launch where everyone's doing like specifically lift 4, I'll just kind of focus it more on lift 4 versus, you know, like an overall 21-day fix kind of thing. The next one I do is if a coach signs up, I have a new coach email. And I created a Google form that I send to my new coaches. Because if you're a veteran coach, you know all of these things. And these are super important things to know. But again, there's so many things to know as a coach. And it's so hard to give all that information out without overwhelming people and like making them just like, this is too overwhelming, there's too much going on, I'm going to quit. So I send a new coach email, like right after I'll send them like a welcome email for the workouts. And it's just, again, like welcoming them. Right away in my email, I tell them to watch out for the email that they're going to be getting from corporate that's going to walk them through like setting up their website, the first 30 program, and going through that. I tell them watch the video that's in that email, and that's your first step. You know, aside from looking at the workouts, that's fine, but as far as coaching, you first want to do that, go through that email from corporate and get started on that first 30 programs. So they're kind of seeing how all of that is done. And then at the bottom of that email, I have a link to my Google form. And in this Google form, I kind of lay out what I expect of them, what they can expect of me. I have a video of like what, again, a video of more of what to expect, and that they should get started on their own fitness journey first. And that's the most important thing. And then the next page is just like this checklist, like so they understand how to be an active coach, why it's important to be active, how to use Share a Cart, what is Success Club, how we earn money or earn an income as coaches, what is the Success Starters program. For those of you that don't know, the Success Starters program means that if you hit Success Club in your first full 3 months as a coach, you get a free ticket to Summit. And so it explains like, what is the Success Starters program? Our goal is to get you to unlocking the Success Starters program. And it's these little things that are really important that we don't always like think of like, okay, what's the best way to give them all of this information where I'm not on like this hour-long call with them. So they can do this at their own pace. They're checking it off. I tell them in there, team calls are this day, national wake up call is this day, mark it on your calendars. And so that kind of stuff, all in this form that I send to my new coaches. And then I have them at the end tell me a little about them. Like what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What do they expect from me as their mentor? How much time are they willing to put into this business? And like, what are their goals? So I can kind of get to know and meet them where they are. Are they someone who's ready to like get to work and really take off with this? Or I've had people like, I'm going to work 10 hours a week, and like, okay, you're going to see slower growth, but that's okay. You know that you can do that. And then I've had other people who are like, I'm going to put in 40 hours a week, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. So it helps me to get that important information out to them where they can do it at their own pace, and I'm not having to give up an hour of my time. But then they're getting like, they know how to sign someone up and all of that stuff through like Share Cart and things like that. I'm more than willing to share that. I know some of you have those. Some of you are more veteran coaches and did not get this form when you first joined. But I'm happy to share it with anyone. Just remember, if you do ask me to share it, that you have to make your own. Otherwise, their responses will come to me versus you want them to go to you directly. And it's just through Gmail, the forms. And it took me a little while. So I literally blocked out 2 hours on a Saturday because I made a lot of adjustments. I was just like OCD. But now it saves me so much time from like getting my new coaches like this important information. So that's another system that I have in place. So new customer email, new coach email with the Google form link attached to it, telling them to get through it at their own pace kind of thing. And let me know when it's done. At the end of that form, I have like my number, like text me when you're done. And so then they have my number, because if you guys are my personally sponsored coach, you know that I do not have my Facebook Messenger notifications on. I only check my Messenger 3 times a day. Unless it's like a push period. So I want my new coaches or my coaches to have my phone number so that we can, if they like really need something, that that's the best way to get into contact with me. So then they'll text me when they're done. I'll go through the form and kind of look over it, and then we'll go from there. And then as far as like bringing new coaches in, so however it is that you kind of get them started, definitely I recommend making sure they look at that new coach welcome email from corporate. And then you can go into our team page and you can plug them into that new coach mentorship that we've put together. I don't add coaches into our team page until they fill out this form, because then I kind of know they're serious. And if I'm not serious about it, I wouldn't want to be in our team page, because, there's a lot of like activity going on in there, getting all these notifications and stuff, and I don't want to overwhelm someone before they go through that. But that's totally your call when you add them in, if you do this form or not, or if you like hopping on one-on-one calls with them, that's perfectly fine. The next thing is tracking. So I know last month, once I kick off my challenge groups, I typically don't add people in late unless it's like a new program launch, like Lift 4. I have people that like started 3 weeks late, but they were doing that specific program and it just launched. So I added them into that group. But otherwise, I don't typically add people in if they've signed up after it already started. So I have to track them some way and make sure that they still get into my next group, and making sure that I'm kind of checking in on them leading up to that group. I let them know, all right, our next group doesn't kick off until this date. It might be a month out, depending on if they sign up like a day after. So our next group doesn't kick off till this date. You're welcome to get started on your own. And then once that time comes, I'll get you added into that group so you can have that accountability that you signed up for. And so I check in on them. If they do get started, I'll help them pick a program like once a week or something, and see how things are going, how they're liking Shakeology. I always try to ask how they're liking Shakeology, so that I can help them find a good recipe if they haven't found one yet, and kind of get that customer retention going. And stuff. And then by tracking them, I'm making sure that they're getting into my next group. So I think I have like 5 people that signed up last month after my group already started, and I have to make sure they get into my next one. Otherwise, I'm just like being a terrible coach in my own mind. So I have a tracking system. I use Asana, or if you want to just like schedule a reminder on the calendar on your phone, like add so-and-so into challenge group. So all of my reminders are going to come to me tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to kind of start prep week. Tomorrow or Thursday, but tomorrow is when I want to get everyone added into the group. So I'm going to get all these reminders in my Asana tomorrow to reach out to these people and add them into that group. So you are, so tracking, making sure you have that system in place for following up with people and all of that sort of stuff. Another thing that I want to talk about for Instagram, specifically, because Instagram photos matter more than anything. That's what Instagram is, and some people, take the time to read captions if they're following you. Not everyone does. They pretty much see the photo and double tap it. So having a good like filter or lighting or whatever it is on that photo. For me, I use the app Visco. It's VSCO. And I had to YouTube like how to use it. Anything I don't know how to do, I'll YouTube it, because you can find anything on YouTube. So I had to YouTube it and find a filter that I liked, because my walls, except for in this room, are brown. And so anytime I take a picture out there, my photos are super dark and they just look terrible on Instagram. So with this app, I light every single one of my photos. I know exactly the 2 different settings I'm going to change it to. So all of my photos are close enough to the same kind of lighting, and so it all looks kind of uniform. So if your photos are all different lighting, the lighting is different in all your photos on Instagram, that's going to kind of turn people away from your page, because Instagram is totally about photos and uniform and all of that. So having a photo editing app of some sort, where you know like what your settings are going to be, so it's the same every single time. I know Kelsey Norgels looks great. All of her photos have the same filter. They look very uniform. So hers is a really good one for if you want to go check out her Instagram. Another thing I know we've talked about this in the past, but bringing it back up, is on my phone, and I know it's on iPhone, I think it's on Android, it's called text replacement. And so I change these periodically, because when I'm talking to people and as I kind of find more of my voice and more of how I want to portray like what I'm trying to say, I change them up. But so basically, when I want to say like, if someone asks me, or I invite someone and they ask me for more info, I literally have the same response in my text replacements in my phone. You go to settings, and I'll just do it quick so I can walk you through it. And I know some of you already know this, but for those of you that don't, so I went to settings, general, keyboard, and then text replacements. So I have like, I don't know how, you probably can't see that. Like these are all of my text replacements. I have a lot of them. And I just send people information through this. So like the first chunk of information that I send them is kind of like, in a nutshell, this is what a boot camp is. Have you ever done something like this before? I type in INF. In that, I have an entire paragraph that pops up and it sends it. So I'm not spending like forever trying to find a previous one, copying and pasting it. Like I just use this text replacement. They respond to that. Then I have another response that's, I edit it a little bit, but I said INFF. That's my second response. INFFF is my third response. PRC is my pricing information, that like everyone gets the same information. And I change it a little bit depending on what promotions are going on, what specifically we're talking about. And so I'm not like, typing the same thing out every single time. Like I just have this system in place. When someone asks me about coaching, I type out CO, that stands for like my coaching information, whatever, and it types out this paragraph of, in it, just to give you a brief description, basically we're fitness reps for Beachbody and blah, blah, blah. Have you ever done a Beachbody program? And so I'm giving this small chunk of information about what coaching is, and I don't have to think like, okay, how do I want to like explain this? I have the same thing that I send people because that's what works for me, kind of thing. So again, that's text replacements. And once you get like a good kind of response for when you're inviting people to join you, I highly recommend using this to save you time. And if you're working from your phone, which I don't recommend doing 100% of the time unless you're on Instagram, then I always do Instagram from my phone. That's another system. And I think that's all I really have as far as systems go. Just these little things that I think help long term, like the Google Forms took me a little time. Oh, and then another Google form I use, if you have a Mac, you can use Flume. It's an app on Macs. You can message people through that on Instagram. But for me, I did it for a while, and it just, with the text replacements, got easier on my phone personally. But for Google Forms, I have that Google form for coaches, and I have Google Forms that I have a link in my Instagram, and anytime I do a call to action on Facebook, I put the link to my Google form in the comment section. I don't recommend ever putting a link in your Facebook status, just because even if it is a link to another group on Facebook, they're making more updates that those are getting less traction because the simple fact that there's a link in your post. But so always if you're going to use a link of any kind, put it in the comments section and kind of direct people some creative way to look in the comments. But I always put my Google Forms in the comments, and right now, like I changed the name of it. Right now it's titled September Boot Camp, and I just want to know a little bit of information, like what someone's goals are, if they've ever used a Beachbody program before, kind of thing, so that I have a little more information, so that when I go to talk to them, I can already like have some programs in mind of like how I can help them reach their goals, ask them like what their fitness level is, beginner, intermediate, advanced. If you want to look at mine, you can, or if you want to go on Instagram and other top coaches, they're all pretty basic, honestly, just getting a little pieces of information to kind of get started talking to them about signing up. So that's another system that I use. You can use Google Forms, you can use Woofu, you can use I'm drawing a blank, Typeform. Like there's different types of forms that you can use. You can use Jotform. Some of them are free. I think some of them you have to pay a little bit. But that's just an easier way to get information from people when you're doing call to actions, especially because people always fill out my forms. And if I do a call to action with no form, I get significantly less responses and less people reaching out to me. So it's helped people to, you know, fill out the form in privacy where no one's like seeing that they're asking for more info. And then I just reach out to them. And at the bottom, it's like, how do you prefer to be contacted? Phone, email, or Facebook, or, you know, however it is, kind of thing. Does anyone have any questions? I know this is pretty quick, but I think these are things that like to at least just start thinking about to kind of simplify your business moving forward and kind of quicken things along. I don't think that's really a word, or I don't think I use that in the right context, but you know what I mean? Awesome. Well, that's all I have for you guys tonight. I'll let you go. If you're in the Diamond Push group, remember that our goal every week is to help 3 people every single week. So if you haven't yet, urgency creates focus. So we're almost to the end of the week. So definitely get going on that. Other than that, you guys have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk to you later.